Hello, I'm High Heel Knight. Welcome to my channel. This is my movie review of It Chapter 2. It is the sequel to Stephen King's It from 2017. And of course, it's also based on the famous novel It by Stephen King. The story finds the evil, murderous specter Pennywise returning to terrorize the small town of Derry, Maine. So the teenagers that defeated Pennywise 27 years ago are now adults, and they must return to the city to hopefully defeat Pennywise twice and for all. Now, I had a lot of high hopes going into this movie because I loved the first film very much. It was actually my favorite movie of 2017, so I was really excited about that. And then I found out the movie was almost 3 hours long, and I got a bit apprehensive, wondering, are they really going to be able to maintain horror suspense for that a large amount of time? It's already hard enough with the action movie, so with a horror film that's, you know, longer than 2 hours, I was a little nervous. But still, I found a lot of good things about it. I found a couple of things I did like about it. So in this review, here's how it will work. I will mention three things that I liked about the movie. Then I'll mention 3 things that I didn't like about the movie. Then I have a little spot where I talk about why I left the theater laughing like crazy because of a bizarre circumstance with the production of this film. And finally, I'll give my verdict. Now, that section about why I was laughing does have some mild to major, medium kind of spoilers. So if you want to miss out on all that, be sure to check the timestamps in the description to know what section to skip. But with that in mind, sit back and relax as I discuss the second coming of It. There were many, many things that I loved about this movie, but I'm just going to talk about 3 particular topics. First of all, the movie is scary and intense throughout the whole film. Now, I did not read the book, but I did see the television miniseries. I enjoyed the television miniseries, and I enjoyed the first film. And in this movie, I enjoyed it very well, and it is tense and scary throughout the whole movie, even though you're seeing elements that I've seen before. If you've seen the miniseries or read the book, it's still very scary, very intense, very thrilling, and the runtime, although long, it doesn't feel like it's long at all. It is really scary and thrilling throughout the whole movie. Another thing I love is that the kids from the first movie are very involved with the production of this film. Now, I tried my best to avoid spoilers, you know, but still there were interviews with like Sophia Lillis and a couple of other kids that get posted online in the news reports. And I figure, okay, well, maybe they'll just be like, you know, a quick little flashback here or there. But it's wonderful to see these fantastic child actors being heavily involved with the story. So that's something I really love. And another thing I love is that Pennywise is an equal opportunity murderous monster. He goes after anybody and everybody indiscriminately. There are even some parts that frustrated me about certain victims, and I was still thrilled about it. Even though I was slightly frustrated, but I still respected and appreciated the film for going there. Pennywise goes after everybody. That was wonderful and absolutely fantastic, so I really, really appreciate that. There were very few things that I didn't like about this movie, and as I mentioned in the previous section, some of the things that I didn't like, I actually wound up respecting because it made those bold choices. But there were a couple of things I didn't like. And the first thing doesn't really have to do with the movie itself, but I gotta mention it. The trailer for the upcoming Birds of Prey movie with Harley Quinn, the teaser trailer plays right before the movie starts. You know, you sit in the theater, you have to sit through 25 minutes of trailers. I didn't sit through 25. I sat in the lobby for 20 minutes, because I knew there would be about 25 minutes of trailer. So I came in 5 minutes afterwards. But still, we're all ready for the movie to start, and there's a sneaky trailer in there. I'm like, what? And the guy next to me, who I know actually wound up sitting all those 25 minutes, he was pretty pissed off too. So, you know, you're already starting off on the wrong foot with having us watch yet one more trailer, even though we just sat through 25 minutes of trailer. And at the point where, like I said, I sit in the lobby until I know the movie is about to start. So knock it off with these extra trailers and all that kind of nonsense. Now, as far as the movie itself, one of the top complaints I have about this film is similar to a complaint I had about the previous film. Mike, the black character, he's pretty much underdeveloped. Now, he's not ignored. He's actually used a lot more in this movie than in the previous movie. But at the same time, his backstory is not explored as far as the other characters. Now, it does make sense because Mike stayed in Derry and he took meticulous notes to make sure he didn't forget about Pennywise and all the other events that had happened. So it makes sense that he doesn't need to catch up as much as all the other characters do. But still, I would have liked a little bit more Mike. And yeah, I'm biased about it, but still, I would have liked a little bit more Mike, because that was my complaint for the previous film. And the other thing I didn't really like, it doesn't ruin the movie, but when Mike sort of explains how they plan to defeat Pennywise, there's a sequence that's just so weird and full of CGI, and it's like, you almost feel like you're in a different movie. Basically, if you saw the conclusion to Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I got those kind of vibes. I was like, what am I watching right now? Doesn't ruin the movie, it's just a really odd, bizarre piece into the otherwise magnificent puzzle. So, I'm sure you're familiar with the idea about mild spoiler, you know, little hints about the plots and things like that. And I know you heard the term major spoiler, where the person is practically spilling the beans about everything. Well, this I'm calling medium spoilers, because it all depends on whether or not you've seen Avengers Endgame. When the trailers for It Chapter 2 started running, a lot of folks, including myself, were sort of teasing that the play is sort of like a superhero movie. You got all these characters coming together to defeat this special evil monster otherworld being, and the leader just happens to also be involved with several other comic book properties to begin with. So, there's a lot of teasing around that. This is like, the Avengers of horror films. I even was calling them the It-Vengers for a while. Well, it turns out that the plot of It Chapter 2 is pretty much Avengers Endgame. And I was just laughing and laughing and laughing as I realized it. I was still scared and thrilled, but when the movie was over and I was exiting the theater, I was just laughing hysterically. People were wondering, like, what is going on? Like, I was just laughing and laughing and laughing about the bizarre coincidences between Avengers Endgame and It Chapter 2. I mean, It Chapter 2 not only just features a bunch of heroes coming together after several years of misery to defeat the villain, and only one of them is a girl of the team, but it features what's essentially time travel to find a bunch of mystical items in order to help defeat that evil being. And there's also a villain that's defeated by going for the head with an axe. And there were other little things that I could mix and match from Avengers Endgame that happened in Chapter 2. And I was like, what is going on? Now, granted, it was written several decades before Avengers Endgame, but still, considering that both movies were probably filmed around the same time, the production was probably done around the same time, and one movie is run by Warner Brothers and the other movie is run by Disney, I was wondering, like, did somebody steal each other's script or something like that? The coincidences are just so incredibly, bizarrely uncanny. It's just like, so I was just laughing and laughing. It's still a scary, thrilling movie, and if you're seeing Avengers Endgame, you'll probably like thinking, yeah, this is Avengers Endgame. If you're somehow of the handful of people that have not seen the biggest movie-making film of all, money-making film of all time, it'll be mild spoilers. But yeah, so if you've seen Avengers Endgame, it's major spoilers. If you haven't seen Avengers Endgame, mild spoilers, which is why I put it in the middle of medium spoilers. It Chapter 2 is indeed Avengers Endgame of horror films. The It movie from 2017 wound up being my favorite film of that year, despite all the other excellent and thrilling movies, including superhero films that came out that year. It Chapter 2 can very likely be my favorite movie of this year, despite all the wonderful films that have come out, including several superhero movies. I loved It Chapter 2. It's thrilling, it's scary, it's bizarre, and if you watch the medium spoiler section, you know I had an extra thrill when it comes to this movie. But yes, I highly recommend it. I loved it. Check it out. See it. I give it Chapter 2 an A+ grade. Okay, so that's my review of It Chapter 2. I hope you enjoyed it. Please feel free to share whatever comments you like in the comment section. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, or dislike, share, and subscribe. Once again, I'm High Heel Knight. Thank you for watching, and remember, find inspiration everywhere.